of Gwinnett County, State of Georgia, in the matter of the State of Georgia versus Celeste Alexandria Owens, indictment number 24B03590-11. Verdict of the jury. We, the jury, find the defendant as follows. Count 1, malice murder, guilty. Count 2, felony murder, guilty. Count 3, felony murder, guilty. Count 4, felony murder, guilty. Count 5, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 6, aggravated battery, guilty. Count 7, aggravated assault, guilty. Count 8, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 9, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 10, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 11, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 12, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 13, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 14, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 15, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 16, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 17, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 18, cruelty to children in the first degree, guilty. Count 19, concealing the death of another, guilty. And count 21, making a false statement, guilty. Signed and dated this 13th day of December 2024 by the foreperson. You may be seated. Is the state ready to move for sentencing?
The state is ready, Your Honor. If I may have a moment to confirm with the family, I do believe they'd like to address the court at the appropriate time.
Before we do that, we request a poll.
All right, very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defense has requested a polling of the jury. What I'm going to have you do is starting with the foreperson, because I'm not sure what order you guys are standing in. So I'm just going to have you stand up one by one in the first row all the way down, and then we'll start with the second row, excluding the alternates, of course. All right, sir, you're juror number 17, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You could be seated. Can you tell me your juror number, please?
16.
All right, juror number 16. Was that your verdict in the jury room? Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. What's your juror number, please?
2, I think.
All right, juror number 2. Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
18.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Juror 19.
Juror 19, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Number 24, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Number 25.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Number 30.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Juror 36.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it still your verdict?
It is.
Thank you.
Juror 37.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you.
Juror 41.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
45.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict? All right, thank you. That concludes the polling. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this time, I am going to, first I want to say thank you for your service, for your time and dedication over the last week. Obviously, this is not an easy case to sit, see, hear, and experience. And I know that I speak for both the state and the defense when I say thank you for your time and attention. This is a duty that is devolved upon us, and it is our responsibility and duty as citizens of Gwinnett County and of the United States. And it is a duty that is devolved upon us by the laws of this nation. And nobody ever wants to get that letter in the mail when they get it, but it is a duty that is honored and respect, and it's what sets this criminal justice system apart from all the other countries. And so I just want to say thank you guys so much for your service and your time. Now, I am now going to release you from the prohibition about looking anything up, or reading anything, or discussing this case. You are free to do this from this moment on. I will also tell you that a lot of times, I remember when I was a practicing attorney and I had jury trials, it always helped me to be able to speak with my jury afterwards. So you are free to do that when we're done with sentencing. If you see them, a lot of times the attorneys sometimes will come down to jury assembly, and if you are willing to speak with them, you may. If you don't want to, you don't have to either. Okay? So, Ms. Barnes, will you please take them to the jury room? All right, I'm going to take a 10-minute recess, and then we'll move to sentencing.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
You see how it ended. Before we get into how it started, I'm just going to give you a brief background. That was Celeste Owens. She was found guilty on all charges. She was dating Brittany Hall. Brittany Hall had 3 children. Her oldest daughter, Amari, was reported missing in November of 2021 by Celeste and Brittany. The police came to the hotel in which they were staying and took them down to the police station, taking pictures and things of that nature, but took them down to the police station to get their statement. Allegedly, the story that they were telling could not be corroborated by the police. For example, Brittany said that she went outside the hotel and was looking for Amari. The police got the surveillance camera footage, and Brittany did not go looking around the hotel for Amari. Celeste also said that she went to go visit her sister at her grandmother's house. The sister was notified while Celeste was giving her statement, and the sister said she hadn't seen Celeste. So Celeste was arrested for giving a false statement. Brittany has not gone on trial yet. Subsequently, they were both charged for the unaliving of Amari. She was found in a wooded area, malnourished and beaten. How Brittany can be the biological mother and beat her children is wild. But to get in a relationship with someone and allow that person to beat your children and abuse your children is even wilder. How do you find someone just as sick as you? They're disgusting, and they deserve to spend the rest of their lives in jail. Let's get into how it started.
She remembered that, because that's what she told the police. That a man took her sister by the neck and put her in a dark room. She said also to the police, Amari had toilet paper in her mouth, and the next morning she wouldn't wake up. That's what she remembered from November of 2021. But none of that, ladies and gentlemen, from an evidence standpoint, shows Celeste Owens killing, murdering with malice or without Amari. None of that does. Time and time again. In an incredibly painful situation. But none of that shines any evidence on Celeste Owens being a killer. I'm going to leave the cruelty to children counts. If you can square away and figure out the tattoos on the legs, no tattoos on the legs, who's doing what to whom back in July of 2021, I will leave that up to you all to decide from an evidence standpoint. But in regards to counts 1 through 8, the murder, malice murder, felony murder, ag battery for the lacerated liver, aggravated assault on Amari with an unknown object, please ask yourselves, no matter what I say, no matter what Ms. Nizam says, what the jury instructions are, it would be your duty to acquit her, find her not guilty, if they fail to prove her guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You will hear that grave suspicion, mere conjecture, suspicion, maybe, could be, possibly, she's guilty, or not sufficient, aren't enough. But the law does require proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And suspicion and conjecture, speculation are not sufficient for you all to find her guilty. In this case, Celeste Owens. Only if she directly commits the crime or intentionally helps in the commission of the crime. That's it. To be a party to a crime, you either do it directly or you help someone. Participate with that person intentionally in committing the crime. You don't have that in this case, ladies and gentlemen. There is no evidence for either of those that she directly killed Amari or intentionally helped Brittany kill Amari. Malice murder, count 1, essentially with malice aforethought, those legal words that Ms. Nizam was talking about. Malice, bottom line, is the unlawful intention to kill. You unlawfully intended to kill Amari. That's what count 1 must be proven by the state by evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. It is not there that she unlawfully intended to kill Amari. The murder counts, felony murder counts. You have ag battery, ag assault, cruelty to children, all dealing with November. Not talking about July here, we're talking about November. And the state, beyond a reasonable doubt, must prove that Celeste caused the death of another person, Amari, by committing a felony, either ag battery or ag assault or cruelty to children. Again, they don't have to show malice, but what they do have to show is this person sitting over there who's been sitting next to me for 5 days, by evidence, killed Amari during a felony, or participated or assisted in Brittany killing Amari during the commission of a felony, by evidence. And ladies and gentlemen, they have not.
participate in the death of Amari Hall is to believe that essentially the defendant was tasked with caring for these children, being called their dad, being in a relationship with Brittany Owens, admitting in her interview with the police to living at the Congress Hotel, living at the Hometown Studios, to say that she had been in a relationship and had been getting to know the kids and being with the kids for going on 2 years, and that while all this is happening, she's just standing there watching. Just standing there, not doing anything other than watching Brittany Hall beat Amari. That's what she wants you to believe, and that's simply unbelievable. And if you believe that she could have stopped on that child, hit that child, if you believe she could have lifted her hand to strike that child based on everything that you now know, that she is a party to the crime, and she is guilty of felony murder by committing the offense of aggravated battery, that she helped either directly or helped or encouraged that liver to be lacerated. She's guilty. She can be guilty of every single count. Remember, you don't have to pick and choose. Now, in November of 2021, as you were assigned to that unit, did you have an occasion to be called out to the Hometown Studios in Gwinnett County for the purpose of a missing child by the name of Amari Hall?
Yes, I was the on-call detective, because usually on the weekends or overnights, we're not at our office. So we have an on-call rotation for all of the 11 SVU detectives. Sunday, the 21st of November of 2021, I was on call for that entire day, and I was reached out by our West Precinct officers who were out on that missing persons case. I think they called me around 10 a.m. that day.
And did you, in fact, go to the location?
Yes, I think it was around noon, 12:30. They called back again, and I drove over and responded to the scene.
Now, prior to your arrival there, was it your understanding that a multitude of resources had been deployed in order to help locate Amari?
Yes, I was working what we call a part-time job, extra job, so I was kind of tracking along on our mobile data, little like computer that we have in our cars, and I'd already spoken a couple times with the on-scene supervisors. They had already contacted our K-9 unit to kind of track in the woods, see if they can pick up anything. They had contacted our Air One, our helicopter, to fly over to see, especially being in the winter times. And they had already reached out to even another precinct to assist, because I think they had like 10 or 15 total officers out there searching the nearby businesses, nearby restaurants, gas stations, stuff like that, just to see if there was a child or if anybody had seen her. And I think by the time I had actually responded, they even contacted our it's an emergency search team, which is like civilians that come out to assist as well and help locating someone, to speak with the parents that were there.
Right, and tell us when you got there, who all was in room 251?
So I met with Ms. Brittany Hall and Ms. Celeste Owens, and then I could see on the second bed to the left, like two little heads like laying down, but literally could just see their heads, so I was assuming those were two other people, which I was later told it was the other children.
Approximately how long would you have been in the room speaking?
I went in and out of the room several times. I think the first time I was in there for 30, 45 minutes, and probably total in there for maybe a couple hours.
And during that time, as you're in and out and in the room, did those two little heads ever move or get out of bed?
No, they were, they looked asleep, and I was told they were asleep. And I was actually told, I think by Brittany, that usually the kids sleep till about 11 or noonish. They sleep in pretty late. In the picture that was sent, she had glasses, and then they both stated that she does wear glasses, and she can't really see if she doesn't have her glasses, and her glasses were gone. So they had said that she took her glasses with her.
What about any kind of issues that she needed medication for?
Yeah, they had noted that she does, because especially when we're handling runaway missing kids, we'll ask about mental capacity as well as like medications determining on the level of severity of them being missing. I was told that she does have autism, but she's a very high-functioning autistic child, so if I were to have a conversation with her, I wouldn't know that she has autism. She speaks very well, but she does take these medications. I don't think I got the specific names, but she only takes it every 12 hours, usually at like 10 a.m. when she wakes up and 10 p.m. when she goes to bed. But the medication was gone. They said that Mari must have taken the meds with her because she's, in their words, very smart. Here are cameras and camera footage that officers and myself were able to review even that, I guess, afternoon.
Now, at some point, did you or other officers review surveillance video for an approximate time period prior to law enforcement being called to see if Brittany or Amari or anybody could be seen walking around the building? Yeah,
after I initially spoke with Brittany and Celeste and checked the hotel room, she actually went out and to the management office to actually review the footage. I think we started, just in case the time frame wasn't perfect, around, I told them started at 8 a.m. that morning on the 21st up until the first officer arrived, and reviewing the multiple camera angles, because there's even one not directly above their door, but on that same level and same side of the building that actually goes all the way towards the back. Reviewing all those camera footage angles and stuff, I did not see Brittany walking around at all on any of the cameras.
Did you see anybody as far as Brittany, Celeste, or Amari walking around, or any of the children?
No, none of the children, Brittany nor Celeste, none of them were seen on any of the cameras walking around from 8 a.m. up until officers arrived.
Second opinion, second questions. He might know other questions I had, stuff like that, stuff I might miss.
So we're gonna start from the basics. We're gonna get a wide bit of information, but first I do want to start with last night. We're gonna go back a few nights, but first we're gonna start with last night, okay? So starting from say yesterday morning, I want you to run through your day all the way up until the police get called.
Run through my day from yesterday when I stayed back. Sorry, I'm running off a few hours of sleep. Yesterday I got back because she wanted to go to the store, and we never leave the kids alone. Because actually two of them was autistic, the little boy and Nicole is missing. And I came back around because sometimes I go help my sister out and also babysit her kids as well because she has a boy and a little girl, Johnny and Jacob. And then I'll come back and then I do my art because that's my business. I do art illustrations. And she does things with like spiritual guidance and readings and stuff like that. And that's when I came in. I didn't think to check like, oh, did anybody run away? That's not what comes to my mind coming in back that early. And
what time was that when you got back yesterday?
It was around, I want to say, because I came back before she went to the store. And when she came back, I left. And then I got back around, I want to say 4-ish, close to 5-ish, I'm not sure. I just came back.
You said you came back. When? How long? So like yesterday, were you there in the morning? Like yesterday morning?
Yesterday morning, yes.
Okay, so when did you said you got back? When did you leave before you got back?
When I came, like at 4 or 5-ish in the morning.
Yeah, just start with not today, but Saturday.
That was the time I left. Before those 2 times, I was with Brittany.
Okay.
The past couple days, because I'm here. I'm her girlfriend.
Okay, so you were with Brittany all day Saturday? Okay. So.
Yeah. And I didn't think to look at, all 3 of them on the bed, because Maury's more of a, when she sees you, she say, good morning or hey or something like that.
So when was the first time Saturday that you left?
The first time Saturday, I can't recall really the time. I can't
Was it morning, afternoon, evening?
The first time I left, I went to the store. It was morning.
And then was that when you what happened after that?
After that,
yeah. So you go to the store and then what?
And then after that, I came back that night with Brittany. Went to the store that day and then came back and then left again and then helped my sister out and then came back that morning before she went.
Now when you left again to help your sister out, what time was that?
Left again before. It I couldn't really even tell you.
After
I can
lunch,
only
before
really-
dinner, nighttime day. I mean, sun goes down at 5 o'clock.
Before that, it had to be nighttime. The daylight wasn't there.
So when you went to go help your sister, it was already nighttime.
Going on night.
Going on night. So after 5 o'clock.
Mhm.
Okay. But not nighttime yet. Not pitch black.
Not pitch black.
Okay. And then when you get back?
That's Saturday morning. I mean, you talking about Friday?
No, we're still on Saturday.
Still on Saturday.
So we left.
So Saturday morning, I came back. Sorry, I'm just.
Okay, so let's just.
everywhere.
It's all right. Sorry, just breathe. Okay, so hanging out with Brittany all morning on Sunday.
Mhm.
You go to the store, you come back, and then you leave again when it's kind of dark to go help your sister,
Mhm.
and then you come back. When you get
It's
back.
not often. Sometimes I don't wake up. Sometimes I just.
Well, I'm not
move
talking about
somebody's
sometimes. I'm
in
talking
and
about
next
just
Saturday.
just yesterday.
Just Saturday.
Just
Just
yesterday.
yesterday. Came back around. Let me give you the specific time.
Mhm.
Oh, man, what times? I think. the morning. I want to say, because I came back, it was evening, it was dark. I want to say, 2 o'clock, because I was in, then came back.
Like
and
2
then
a.m.?
Came back, yeah. 2
Okay.
p.m.
2 p.m.
Mhm.
Well,
Two, because Saturday, sorry.
Okay,
'cause-
so let's start over. 'Cause we're getting all over
Start
the
over,
place
yeah.
here. Okay,
Let's
so
start with the day,
this
then
this
we'll
is
lead up to
this
that.
is what I'd like to do. Okay, we're gonna start with Saturday from the
Okay.
moment you woke up. I want to know everything you did, all the way until
Okay.
the moment you realized she
Saturday,
was
I
missing.
woke up, I went to the store.
Okay, what time was that?
Sunday. Saturday, I woke up, went to the store. It had to be around 11. Couldn't have been after 12 because I don't like shopping that early. Then I came back. Then I went to BP, walked because I don't need to live there. I walked there and then came back. I don't recall the time on that. And then after that, I came. It was that night because I came back. And then I stayed, and then I left again just to go quick to the store again for some cigs, and then I came back.
Which store?
BP. And then I came back,
For cigarettes?
and then I came back, and that's when Brittany was like, you can go, and that's when I came back and boom, because I'm never on like very long. I'm always coming back. That's why I said like with the kids, like she knows like way more than me, because I'm still trying to.
Okay.
Build with the kids.
So maybe make sure I got this right. You woke up, you went to the store, you said it was probably around 11 a.m. because you usually don't shop at noon or later. And then you came back, and then you left to go to BP, you walked there, and then you came back again. Do you remember around what time that was, your first BP visit?
My first, no, I can't really recall.
If you just had a guess.
I'm just all over the
Is
place.
it, say, between 1 and 6?
Yeah, I would say between 1 and 6.
Between 1 and 6?
Still some daylight out?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you come back, and then you said you left again to go get cigarettes. Around what time do you think that was? Was it dark out, light out?
When I left again to go see, it was still light out.
Still light out? And when you came back, was it light out?
Dark.
So you left to get cigarettes, it was light out, and you came back, it was dark.
Going on dark, yeah.
Okay.
And then that's when she wanted to go to the store.
About how long do you think you were at Grandma's house for?
When I left, I came back at I would say 4 hours, because then I came back before 5. It was like early when the sun wasn't hardly even up, but it was daylight.
Before 5 p.m.?
And that's when I noticed when I just walked up to the door, I pushed, I said, that's kind of strange. And then that's when I came in, I kicked off my shoes, I laid in the bed, and I closed the door and started looking.
Okay, and what time was that when she woke you up?
Right before she called 911. She woke me up as soon as she was dialing 911. She woke me up because I think she was on the phone outside looking at the same time, and she woke me up.
And you said she went outside looking for her? Did she just go out the door, or did she go walk around the outside of the building looking for her, maybe checking the parking lot and stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
And how long have you known Brittany?
I've known Brittany for going on 2 years.
2? Have you
I've been with her. I've been knowing her for a long time, since we were 17.
How long have you lived with her?
Lived with her, I'll say, I want to say a year. year and a half, going on 2, because we had just got back together in 2018.
Now, what's grandma's information?
I'm not sure.
You know your grandma's
Why would
name?
she need?
Just so we can check on
She
some
don't know.
stuff.
She's not with my lifestyle. Period. She don't even ask questions or nothing. But I don't even communicate with my grandmother.
Yeah, but she lives at this 1535 Isle Drive.
My grandmother, yes.
Okay. What about your sister? What's your sister's information?
Diamond Owens. I don't know her number by heart, but her name is Diamond Alexis Owens.
Now, and with all that saying, what do you think happened with Nicole?
I'm gonna tell you from my personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first came around more, which was 2 years ago, when I got back with Brittany, because we were together before, but before she had kids, and then we separated, and then we came back together. My one-on-one relationship with her was, she was a sweet child, but the only thing was her behavioral problems. Like when she didn't get her way, she would literally like punch herself, and it's like, more, why are you doing it? Because I first noticed it when Brittany had left and went to go grocery shopping. Ooh, God forbid, but I literally think that she just, of course, ran away. But I literally think that, God forbid, somebody snatched her up.
Now, checked all those cameras. We have people checking those cameras right now. They never saw her walking around that hotel.
Really, this morning?
Mm-hmm. So is there any reason why that's not adding up?
I don't know. I honestly don't tell you.
Is there anything that happened? I mean,
If
an accident happened or something?
She went out looking around, and she came back. Because when she went out, she told me she walked around. She's like, yeah, babe, I'm looking around.
Did you see her go walking around?
I only saw her go down the steps and go down the side, and by that time, she's already on the phone with 911.
Okay. Cause
and then she said a cop was coming. So even if she wanted to double the hotel twice, she couldn't. And I remember her saying she went to the back, and there was some hole back there. I don't know what hole in the back of the hotel. And she said she was looking. That's why if I knew, I wouldn't ask you guys for no help.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't have to go through this.
Is there any reason why, is it Zaire? Am I saying it right? Zaire. Is there any reason why Zaire would say Dad took her sister to the Bad Girl Hospital?
To the Bad Girl Hospital? Oh, she's saying that because when Maury would act out, I'll say, Maury, listen, if you can't listen to us, you're going to go, can't say defects, can't say none of that stuff. I said, Maury, if you can't play with your sisters or you can't negotiate, you're going to go to this place. And normally when we say that, Maury will act right for at least 3 hours.
Now you say this place, what is this place? Do you refer to it as this place, or do you call
this
it?
place.
Okay, is there any reason why she would call it the Bad Girl Hospital? Mental hospital?
Bad Girl, yeah.
Okay, a Bad Girl Hospital.
Mainly Bad Girl, yeah.
Said a little bit that was somewhat similar, but was completely different, and that raises concerns, okay? Because usually, in some cases, when two people are lying about something and they come up with a story, sometimes they mess stuff up. And I'm not saying that you're liars, I'm not saying that you committed a crime, but I'm saying I have to investigate it to the fullest ability, which part of it does include asking you the hard questions. No, it says that means guilty until proven anything. No, that's not what we need to do, okay? So what's the name of your nephew?
Jacob.
Jacob, thank you.
Only reason things are in a hurry is because it's a
I
missing
know
kid.
No, it's a difference between the hurry. Don't get it wrong, like, do all the research you want to do. Go find, go dig, go do whatever.
And part of that is talking to you.
Yeah.
And part of that is getting all this information in as much detail as we can.
But like I said, I've been in this predicament before, and I never sat with a guy like this.
Well, I don't know what other predicaments you've been in, and honestly, that has nothing to do with this exact scenario. Okay, and in this exact scenario, there's stuff that's not lining up. In this exact scenario, there's a 6-year-old child that's saying that you may have been involved in the disappearance of her sister. So that is something we do have to address. Okay?
I'm quite sure she didn't say disappearance of her sister.
We're not going to get into the antics of it, okay? She made a statement, okay, and we have to address it, okay? Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. It's something we have to get into, okay?
And we got our other room right there where we like upload our cameras and stuff. There's a door, and then the playroom's right there. She must still be here.
I thought she was.
No,
next.
No, they didn't. They did not say they didn't. Can we go? Can you give us consent to just look through your phone? No. Okay.
Because I feel like you guys want to get too much family to try, and then my family's going to raise a question, and that's going to be another, villain, and duh. And it's like, oh my gosh, these cops
top one you sign yes.
On top of the box or in the box?
In the box, sorry. I know, I'm very confusing. And if you don't mind writing your name. Okay. And you say your password was February 10th, 2019. Is that the anniversary?
2/10/2019, yeah.
So just 6 digits, or is it like 8? Like, is it actual 2019?
02/10/19.
Okay. The problem is we have so many moving parts, so many people I gotta talk to. It's okay. Okay, so I just want to talk to you away from her, separate me.
Yes.
That's
All
it.
I'm saying is, just to clear things,
Yeah.
I am discombobulated. I cannot give you exact times. If you feel like I wanted the BP that time, run the camera back to the BP where you saw me with this hat. Or my neck. Run it back to there. But it's like, I cannot sit here. How you approach people to try to get something out of someone. You don't approach people like that to try to get something out of someone because you think so. Then why would a little girl this? Why would a little girl? I'm telling you everything that's going on. And then when we come for help, you don't really get help. That's why a lot of people do things and just don't call the cops and handle it their own way. Because it can flip, just like what it did today. Like my dad always told me, anything can flip with cops. So it just pisses me off because I've been out all day. I've been answering you respectfully all morning. Respectfully all morning. Then I get here and I'm in the room that I've never been in before that I've seen on First 48. And being chastised with questions, trying to make me, I think you did it. As soon as he said that, it broke me to the core. Because if I did it, I damn sure wouldn't be in that hotel. I would be going on the run.
Yeah, no, like I said, you stuck around, you talked.
I stuck around and I talked, and he's telling my daughter, I'll be here. Dude, that's you. But I know with me, when the police said they looked, okay, I'm going to go look too. I'm not going to be here all night answering the same questions, not no new questions, these same questions. And it's not adding up with Brittany. At the end of the day, that's Brittany's daughter. I'm not even the real biological father. None of me is on paper with them, with those kids. They don't have my last name, nothing.
Yeah.
So why should my things just be ran through? Where you been here? Why you been driving here? Why was this over here? Why was that over? I'm not going to keep answering that. I'm not a cop. If I wanted to be one, I would have been wearing that badge easily. I have no record. Easily become a cop. I'm going to reach out to them too. We're not just going to sit back and let this ride. No, that's not us. But I'm trying to be the strongest now because I don't want my kids to see that I'm weak. I'm a very strong woman. If I do something, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to sit up here and open the door and let my child run out. I'm not that person. At all. And if you guys want to go in there and ask neighbor after neighbor after neighbor after neighbor, then go ask each neighbor. Because I wouldn't open no goddamn door for no 8-year-old to run out there, and I know she got a mental condition. I wouldn't fucking do it. But I thought I could trust you guys, but we being chastised for no reason. And it's not right. Because if I didn't want your help, we wouldn't have called you. We would have said, but to bring my family and Tucker in this, we don't even speak like that. The only person I communicate is my sister. And then when I do go with my sister, I'm saying hey and bye to grandma. They're not going to tell you anything. Even if you ask them, I asked Celeste, they're not going to tell you anything because they don't really agree with me.
Well, why would you bring them in and say that your sister?
Because he asked me a question, and I thought you guys was helping me, till I realized I'm being chastised and they're trying to detain me.
So you just made it up? Or?
I didn't make anything up. I don't know anything. I'm discombobulated, remember?
So you don't remember?
I prefer to be in a better peace of mind. See, this is how you go about things. You get the information for that missing child that night. Now, sometimes I did expect you guys to find her. I really did. But sometimes things don't go that way. So what I did expect was you guys to give a courtesy call and say, hey, I would like for you guys to come to the station, whatever. Then I would have had the kids picked up by someone to go. I'm not going to tell you all my business through my daily life. Why? Because I feel like I'm being chastised. So I'm not going to open up to somebody that's hounding me. No, if you would have asked me all this home, cool, but you brought me to the station and said, we're going to write a statement. I haven't wrote one damn thing.
Well, you didn't tell me at the house. You just said you come and go.
Because I do come and go, but I'm discombobulated now.
Yeah.
everything I'm saying is not going to make sense. Everything she's saying not going to make sense because we feel attacked.
Yeah, you're a little combobulated, but earlier you were fine. You were sitting there talking to
Because I feel
us.
like you guys was helping us. That's all. That's really all. I feel like.
As I tell people, especially in my job, you know who I care about? I care about the kids most.
So how
People's
long am I
beat,
being
I don't-
detained?
Well, you gotta go over to the jail.
You're gonna take me to jail?
I told you you're being charged with false statements. That's why I said you're not free to leave. You're being calm for the most part. I don't see need to wrap you up in handcuffs or
Can I
anything.
tell them lie?
Well, yeah, when we go out, we'll tell them about it. I promise. I ain't gonna be no
So
asshole.
now you're gonna send me to jail till I have a court date?
I mean, that's how it works, yeah.
Okay.
I want you to talk loud enough that the people in the back can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Can you say your name and spell it for us?
Zaire, Z-A-I-R-E.
What's your last name?
Hall, H-A-L-L.
Thank you, ma'am. How old are you?
9 years old.
Awesome. Before you lived with Gigi and Papa, where did you live?
An apartment.
Apartment. Who lived with you at the apartment?
My sister, my brother, and me, and Celeste, and I forgot her name.
Did your mom live there? Do you know your mom's name?
Can you answer, did your mom live there, yes or no?
Yes,
Do you know your mom's name?
I forgot.
Is her name Brittany?
Yeah,
You mentioned you had a sister that lived there. What's your sister's name?
Maury.
What is it?
Maury.
How do you spell Mari? Do you know? Do you
No.
know her full? Do you know her full name?
Yes.
What's her full name?
Maury Nicole Hall.
Thank you, ma'am. And you mentioned that Celeste lived with you guys. Who is Celeste? Who is she to you? Let's try this a different way. Was there another name that you used to call Celeste when she lived with you? Answer.
Yes.
And what name did you call Celeste?
Dad.
Thank you. Back when you lived with your mom, Celeste, your brother and sister, what kind of foods did you eat?
Bread. And that's all.
Just bread? Did you just eat bread all the time, or did you sometimes eat other things?
Sometimes we ate other things.
Okay. When
I don't know.
did you watch TV?
No.
Did you play on your phone?
At that time, I didn't have a phone.
Okay. Did you play with toys?
We didn't have toys.
No toys. Okay. What things did you do since you didn't have toys and a phone and TV?
We looked at the wall and yeah, that's all I can think of for right now.
Just looked at the wall?
That's all I can.
When you lived there, did you get spankings?
Yes.
Where would you get spankings? Like where on your body?
I forgot that. I forgot.
You forgot where you got spankings? Okay. Did you ever get touched in any way other than spankings?
No.
No. Did you get... Let's talk about where you slept. When you lived in the apartment with your mom and Celeste, where did you sleep?
On the floor.
Did you have a pillow?
I don't think so.
Did you have blankets?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's okay. Where did your brother sleep?
On the floor as well.
Where did your sister Amari sleep?
On the floor.
Did your brother ever get spankings?
Yes.
Did your sister get spankings?
Yes.
Did you see them get spankings? Do you know where they got spankings at?
No.
Did you ever see them get anything more than a spanking?
I don't remember.
Don't remember. Do you remember me coming and talking to you at the house the other day?
Yes.
And do you remember us talking about you getting spankings when you lived at the apartment?
I think so.
Remember, you called it something else, and I asked you where you learned that word. Do you remember what that word was?
No.
You don't? Okay. Did you and Amari get along?
Yes.
Did you guys fight at all?
No.
So on this picture here that we see of Amari in the middle, it looks like she has really short hair. Is that right?
Yes.
Was her hair always short like that?
No.
How did it get short like that?
I forgot.
You forgot.
Yeah.
Did somebody cut it off?
I think so.
Who do you think cut her hair off?
Celeste, I think.
Okay.
No.
That's okay. You're doing great. So when Amari's hair was cut off, was Amari happy about that?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Why don't you think she was happy?
I don't know.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you please say your name and spell it for the record?
Diamond Owens, Diamond, last name Owens.
Do you know Celeste Owens?
Yes,
How do you know Celeste?
that's my sister,
Is it your biological sister or stepsister?
my biological sister,
Okay. Is she older or younger than you?
older.
Okay. We're going to get right to the point. Back in November of 2021, did you find out the police had come to your father's house and asked you some questions?
Yes,
Where did your dad live at that time?
with my grandma,
What was that address?
1535 Outer Hour Drive, Tucker, Georgia.
Okay. What's your dad's name?
Wayman,
Say it again.
Wayman?
Wayman? Okay. And were you at the house that night?
No,
Did you pick up your sister at the Hometown Studios that night?
no.
Before November of 2021, when was the last time you had seen your sister?
I think it probably was in July, earlier that year.
My name is Barbara Wright, BarbaraWright.
Ms. Wright, what is your relationship to Amari, Jakari, and Zaire Hall?
I'm their fantastic grandma.
I'm sure you are. Ms. Wright, are you their biological grandmother, the biological mother of Brittany Hall?
I am.
Okay. And where do you live? What part of town?
I stay in DeKalb County.
And who lives with you?
Tony Wright, which is my husband, Zaire, which is my beautiful granddaughter, and Jakari, which is my handsome grandson.
Very good. And it's the four of you?
Yes. When it came out the oven, and she saw how pretty it was, she actually thought it was a cake.
Ms. Wright, was Amari well behaved when she was around you?
Yes.
At some point, did Amari, Zaire, and Jakari live with you and your husband, Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Do you recall how old they may have been when they did?
It was several times. I can't quite recall the ages, but it was several times. They would, stay with me.
Would that be for extended periods of time?
Yes.
Do you recall the longest they stayed with you?
The longest could have been almost a year.
And during that time, it would just be the children, and it would be your responsibility and Mr. Wright's responsibility to take care of them?
Yes.
You would provide for them financially,
Yes.
emotionally,
Yes.
They obviously lived in your home, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you know where Brittany had taken the children?
When she first moved, yes. After that, no.
So towards the end of 2020, you knew where the children were?
Yes.
And after that, you did not know about their whereabouts?
2020, when they moved out, in the 2020, going into 2021, I knew where they were. On into 2021, I didn't.
I see. Did you ever try calling Brittany to speak with the children?
All the time.
Tell me about how you would try contacting
I would call her cell number. I would text her. We would try to FaceTime her. There was no response at a lot of the times. And if she did, it would be weeks later. We would ask to FaceTime, but she would never FaceTime us.
October of 2013.
Yes.
When she is born, is Brittany and Amari living with you?
Yes.
So she's living, Brittany and Amari are living with you in 2013 when she's born.
Yes.
And do they stay living with you when Zaire is born, which is in June of 2015?
Yes.
So for those 2+ years or 2 years, that interval, your daughter Brittany and granddaughter Amari are living with you, right?
Yes.
And is that in DeKalb?
Yes. It's my granddaughter.
Was she malnourished?
No.
Underweight, in your opinion?
No.
And you don't recall the last time you saw the kids in 21?
No, because we was calling looking for them.
Were you ever aware that Brittany was inflicting corporal punishment on the 3 kids?
No.
When did you learn that?
When I saw it for the first time.
You saw the video of her stomping on your grandchildren?
No, I saw the video when news people had it on news when the case, when they found them, and I saw them when I went to the courthouse. I saw it.
You weren't aware that your daughter was stomping on them?
No.
It was purchased as a gallon of bleach, miscellaneous drinks, and candy.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Bleach was being purchased, miscellaneous drinks, and candy, along with the item. And latex gloves were also purchased. And then she exits the store at 1:40.
Bed here. This is a second bed. So when you first entered into the room, there would have been a bed kind of right across from you, and then another one to the left. So these are the 2 beds, and these are some of the trash bags that we had around. A lot of them had clothing in them. Some of them had wet clothing. We had like a white trash bag with yellow handles. We had this grayish looking, kind of like a waffle pattern with black handles. And these are just some of the things.
All right, and I believe that was State's Exhibit 73, and this is 74. Is that a close-up of the items that were found in the bags?
This is a close-up of the bags that were located at the foot of the second bed.
Okay.
Is what I called them first bed when you first come in. Second bed was the left bed.
I'm going to move you over to State's Exhibit number 76. What is it that we're looking at here?
All right, so as you can see, this is actually the front entry door. So when I first took that other picture and looked into the left, the dressing room bed over here, the beds would be behind me if you were standing in this position.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And behind the door, I noticed that there was a larger defect in the wall, so I photographed that.
Okay. I'm going to move you over to State's Exhibit 78.
Tell us what we're seeing here, please.
All right, so if you had the first bed and the second bed. On the left side of the second bed, there was a trash can along with some other trash bags that were on the ground as well. When we were doing our search, after I had did my overall initial photographs, and the search was occurring, we ended up looking through the trash bags and we found a diaper that had duct tape wrapped around it. This was all on the floor near that same area to the left of the bed number 2. And inside of it, I noticed there were some blue gloves. Those were ended up being documented and collected. There were actually 2 sets of gloves. They were double gloved almost. Like you'd have a glove and then pull it off, and another 2 sets of gloves that were pulled off.
Exhibit number 81.
This was inside of the black bag as well. There was a glove, looks like a work glove, and inside of the work glove was a handgun.
And is that noted here in State's Exhibit 82? Tell us how this is laid out, please.
Yes, so this is documented, and then we have the live cartridges, unfired cartridges here.
All right, State's Exhibit number 83. Where is this in relation to the 2 beds that we originally saw in the photos?
All right, so this would be when you first entered, you had your first, your second bed, and then if you turn and look at the wall directly across, it's at that far wall. And the trash cans from the back that we looked through a minute ago would have been right here in this area.
Can the jury hear her okay standing away from the microphone?
All right, Ms. Johnson, I'm going to move over to State's Exhibit number 84. What is it that we're looking at here?
So usually, like I said, when I do my first documentations, I look over and just document everything as it is. In this case here, we had some food items up here, we had the trash bags here, and we were just trying to show what all was stored.
Is that the top of the refrigerator?
It is the top of the refrigerator.
All right. And then State's Exhibit number 85.
This is on the sink. We had a bottle of bleach that was here and some other items.
Okay. That's next to the refrigerator as well?
Yes.
Now, State's Exhibit number 86. Why would you look inside? I'm assuming this is a refrigerator.
Yes.
Is that also part of your common practice when photographing and processing a scene?
It depends on the type of scene and what's possibly occurring. So in this instance, we decided to document food availability based on some of the information we had received. So we wanted to document food availability within the residence.
So this was all the food that was in the refrigerator at the time that you went in to process room 251 of the Hometown Studios?
Yes.
How about State's Exhibit 87?
Same, this was in the freezer, showing the food items that were located within the freezer.
State's Exhibit 88?
This was in one of the kitchen drawers that was also in that little kitchenette area.
Again, those are more food items
Yes.
Based on your visual?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 89, is that the same drawer or a different drawer?
That's a different drawer. This is one drawer below. It has some food items as well.
How about State's Exhibit number 90?
These were some of the upper cabinets. Again, we were just showing that there were food items in upper cabinets as well.
All right, and I have 2 more pictures, so I'll just ask you to remain standing for a minute. At some point while you were still on scene at the Hometown Studios, room 251, did you also receive information from other crime scene technicians who were still at headquarters with the children, Jakari and Zaire?
I did.
And what information or what was relayed to you to help you find additional items that may be of help to the investigation?
I was told that there was, we needed to look into finding possible things that caused injuries to the children.
Okay.
There were some injuries that were observed that were kind of thin, could have been more like cord or something more thin and like rounded off like a cord or something.
So I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 91 first. What is it that we're looking at?
This is that trash can and the trash bags I spoke of earlier, and then this right here was a hanger, and it had sort of a white thin area that I thought could have been used to make those marks.
Were there Detective Blackburn, did you note a flash of any kind that had just occurred?
That is correct. She was the defendant was manipulating her flashlight on her cell phone.
Were there photographs that were also being taken? Is that a, or can you tell? You may not be able to see from there. Okay. Is this location closed at this hour?
That is correct, and there's a key drop box at that position of where she's standing by. The U-Haul key is dropped in the box, and then you'll see her stand by for a Uber or Lyft to pick her up.
Myself and the other investigators.
Can you describe for the jury what that area looks like that you responded to?
Yes, so this particular roadway, Stone Mill Drive, it's located off of Juliet Road in DeKalb County, Stone Mountain area. It is an entranceway to a condominium or a apartment style housing unit. The roadway in question, Stone Mill Trace, it comes off of Juliet Road, and to the left-hand side, there's a fairly densely wooded area that's just natural. There's no construction to the left-hand side of the roadway. As you continue forward, there is a stone blockaded area closing over what used to be an entryway to the condominium's rear portion. And then there is a secondary roadway that goes off to the right-hand side that leads into this condominium.
Why were you called out that day?
I was contacted because I had previously responded in reference to a search warrant for a missing child off of Jimmy Carter. And while I was actually performing the search warrant, I was contacted by the detectives, Detective Lawson and Detective Carter specifically. Child had been located deceased at the location off of Stone Mill Drive.
And can you describe the specific area where the child was found off Stone Mill Drive?
Yes, so on Stone Mill Drive, the natural area or wooded area to the left-hand side of the roadway, near the concrete blockades, there was approximately 11 feet off of the curb. There was a fallen tree in that natural area, and there was also a fair amount of construction debris. It looked similar to a dump site, but the construction debris was leaned over the fallen tree, so you couldn't really see the area where the body was located from the actual road because the construction debris covered it. So the deceased was located in a kind of a depression in the ground, not necessarily something dug out, just a depression in the ground right behind that fallen tree and construction debris.
At that time, obviously we had video from the U-Haul, believed to be Mrs. Owens, and then we also had contract information at 1:06 p.m. that I was aware of from the case. So all these two pieces of other evidence from the case I found were in or about the time when the device would have been in the area of that location.
Thumbnail sketch was there was this young girl, appeared to be very young, less than 10 years old, who was found in plastic bags in a wooded area, and she appeared to be malnourished. That's kind of the thumbnail sketch. There were multiple obvious injuries externally.
It is.
Okay, just making sure.
Way ahead of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. What information is contained on this slide, Dr. Downs?
The case number up at the top, 21G2057, Amari Hall. Her date of birth, 10/30/13. Date of death, that's the date that she was pronounced, not the actual date that she died, was November 23rd of 21 and pronounced at a little before 1 p.m. I did my exam the next day, a little before 11:30 in the morning on the 24th, and cause of death, multiple blunt force injuries, other significant conditions. Those are things that aren't reflected in the cause, but are also important in her death. And those other conditions were battered child syndrome, malnutrition, and the manner of death, homicide.
Can you define battered child syndrome for the jury?
That is a description to describe multiple wounds in multiple locations in multiple stages of healing. That is a child who has been abused with injuries in multiple different areas that happened at different times, so different episodes. And they're in multiple stages of healing.
What are we seeing here?
So this is Amari's body. She's in plastic bags. You can see covering her upper body down to just above her waist. At the waist area, you see another plastic bag that's tied around the waist, and within that, there's plastic about a yard length of black fabric that's been tied, involving that second plastic bag. And then the third plastic bag goes from the thigh level down and covers the feet. So she's been placed head to toe in 2 plastic bags, and they've been pulled away from the midsection, so you can see her butt would be towards us as we're looking at the picture. Her thighs would be going away from us. She's laying on her left side. So if I can, I'll just refer to like a rope or something. So that may be easier.
Well, you can say it like you're now that you told us what it means.
Okay.
All right, this is States 178.
So here, this is from her left side, and the most notable thing to me is how skinny she is. She is remarkably skinny. When you compare her to height, she's very tall for her age, but she's also very thin. So when you put those two together, she's less than the 5th percentile. So you know those big bell curves where you have everybody 50% is in the middle? She's way over beyond the margin, beyond the curve, past 2 standard deviations. So she's unusually skinny. You can see her ribs sticking out. You can see how narrow her waist is. This child's been malnourished, hasn't gotten sufficient food.
This is States 180.
This is on the right arm, and you see an older scarred injury, linear. That could be from something like what I'm holding in my hand, hitting the upper arm and causing a wound that's scabbed and healed as a scar. And then the other stuff down below that we already looked at.
You mentioned that we might see later what's under the blue square there. We're going to save the jury from showing that again. Can you just describe the injury that's on her face up there?
So the blue squares?
Yes, where the blue squares.
So animals have basically taken that whole everything that's covered by the blue for the most part, animals are eaten.
Thank you.
And the difference is important because bodies are not flat. So I have to look at this in the context of, okay, I've got the rib margin here, and I couldn't really appreciate that the other way, how sunken this is. So it allows me to do that. It also gives me a look at how skinny her belly is. And I'm looking better at the right side here. I'm also looking down here at the right leg, and a different different pattern on the right arm. Again, you start seeing now, you've seen several of these before, that horizontal linear pattern with an erosion that's healing. Again, around the forearm. This looks like a ligature, a binding injury. You've got some other stuff here that's higher up. That could be binding. It could also be with a rod-like object that's broken the skin. This has some healing associated with it. Scarring here, so different time window here, and then vertical. All right, so this is an object that hits and then changes direction. Child syndrome.
I want to jump back, if I can, to the liver injuries. Would there have been any outward signs on the child that this injury had occurred?
I would expect it to be painful. I would expect the child to at least be complaining of abdominal pain, if nothing else. Stuff that's fresh doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have a scab on it. Scab is an indication of older.
So all of these injuries happened within about an hour of death. Is that what you're saying?
Within a couple of hours of death, I think that's fair.